So tying the back walls together at the center.
You gotta love yurts. I mean, you can go anywhere in the country, bury a yurt, and start hunting for Renaissance equipment.
And these walls are stretched out to approximately the perfect height, about 6 feet, in order to get this middle joint tied up. And they're clearly marked midway, mid-wall, inside.
Do I look Mongolian? It's the Patriots hat, isn't it?
You know, oh, you are wearing a Patriots hat. He's basically wrapping the rope around the two joints like this. He goes in behind the wood, in between, and then he goes around and down to the next one.
Yeah, make sure I get it into the wood there.
So we can go tight around the rope that we used instead of bolts.
Alright. Good shape.
And that holds it all together. We are threading rope. Threading rope through the hole at the bottom.
No one's supposed to see this part.
Yeah, that's how you do it. You thread it through the hole at the bottom so that you...
Yep, and then you just tie a knot on the outside and you're done.
Tie a knot on that side.
Right. Get those together.
And then you push the knot right up close. And that will hold it all.
Nice.
Sweet. To decide where your yurt's going to go, you place a stake in the middle with a 7-foot rope, and you just give yourself some markers along the way. We laid down some rope. We put some screwdrivers in the ground. Whatever you want, sticks, doesn't matter, and you just walk yourself a line. So we know kind of where the walls are going to stretch to, and at this point, now that we've got the back wall tied together, we're going to stretch it out and try to make it round.
Okay.
So I'll hold this side. And it's very flexible. And he's going to turn this side. And once you get it bent, it'll pretty much stand up on its own.
Yeah.
It's got to be
fine now.
It's got to be on flat ground. If you have it on a hill, you're going to have a problem. So there it is. It's the back wall. There'll be a door in and a door out. And the last wall is laying there and it's flat, and we're going to stand it up and stretch it out once we get the doors sort of built. This bundle of 4 sticks is the door with the rope that belongs to it. And there's a second door as well for the opposite side. So the door gets tied to the edge of the wall like the back walls get tied together.
It's pretty easy. You just wrap it around the ropes, and then you wrap it around the door frame once, and then just come down the other side, go to the next one.
It's good to have a little step stool just for the top ones.
Yeah, so I'll go in through the middle, get the rope, wrap it around.
And over the top. And down to the next.
It's kind of like a half hitch. Yeah. Get that tight. There we go. Don't leave any slack.
So from this side. So it goes in behind like that. Okay, so he's putting it behind the wood again.
We're going to go through this hole from the wall side.
That sits up in there. There's a little notch that
There's
sits
a
right in the
notch
hole.
that sits in there. And then we'll go through this way and then down through here and tie a knot underneath.
Okay.
All right. That's the theory.
It's good to have a nice cut end on your rope. If we dipped it in wax, we'd be much better off.
There you go. I burnt the ends
That
so it doesn't flange.
Yeah.
And then, pick it up. I should have drilled a bigger hole in this one.
Yeah, because that doesn't really matter, right?
Okay.
So he pulls it through.
Oh, right. Okay, where's that screwdriver? All right. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to loop it around the back of this.
And tie a knot.
And tie it here.
Yep.
Instead of knotting it on the bottom.
Yeah, that's much easier to take it apart afterwards, too.
All right.
So now we're putting up the front wall and we're going to attach it to the other side of that door.
Here's a key part to this whole thing. You see how the knots on the bottom are up about 4 inches?
Mm-hmm.
The ones on the top are almost at the very top. You definitely want to always put it that way. Because when we put the wire that holds the roof slats on, it needs to be high up enough to go on the top of these door frames. If you see, the top of those knots up there is what it's going to ride in. It's going to ride in the slats of wood that are right where those knots are. And then you'll see later that if we put it the other way around, those would be way too low. And it wouldn't be above the door jamb.
And then the tent top sits on it in a bad way and might poke through. So the short ones go on the top. So he's just stretching this out over to that door.
Okay.
Good thing it's just rope knots.
It's like Lincoln logs.
It kind of is. Everything goes in the notches. Now see, well, we're really stretched. We don't have.
So you want to push that towards me, and we're going to bring it back to where that. Okay, good. And if you want to go higher, you're going to come in a little bit.
Well, I'm just thinking of what size this door is on this side. So
Yeah, it's
we're
okay.
close. We're close. It'll stand, right?
Yeah, but this is too low. You got to crunch it up a little bit for it. There we go. You see how high they are on the other side?
Yep.
That's
Perfect.
what you
So once again, he's putting it through the hole at the top. And then he's going to work his way down this side of the door like he did the other side. He's singeing the end of the rope so that it doesn't fray while he's pushing it through the hole.
Trying to make it so it's pointed.
Kind of hard that's cotton rope.
Well, you see the way it's melting? It's
Yeah,
not as
so-
cotton as you think.
So it's got some stuff in it, yeah.
Yeah. There we go. That's better.
It's kind of what we did to each of these knots
Yeah.
when we were building the yurt.
There's plastic on the inside.
So to start at the top, you just put the knot through the hole.
No, put the rope
Rope
through
through the
hole.
hole, not the knot, yeah. Rope through the hole.
Okay, so
This one's higher up because it's...
this one's higher up. I'm going to keep it so that it's up there like that.
Yeah.
I think the way I'm going to do that is to loop through here. And then come around and cinch down into it.
Yep.
All right.
Looks good.
Okay.
Hello.
We're having a little trouble with the camera. Look it, Donna got smart. She said, why don't you just make a point out of tape, put it on the end of the rope, then you don't have to struggle every time you want to put it in the hole. And look how nice that works.
Right
Honey, I got to give it to you. That worked great.
Next step is the roof, which collapses down like an umbrella. That's the top. And this is the wire that goes around the top of here. So this piece of wood is our push pole. It's got a bolt sticking out of it that's like used like a handle. This can be rested on your shoulder. It's got these two pieces of wood at the top that are like a fork to hold the ring at the top of the yurt roof. And we push it up. To put the roof on, we have to tie this rope across the ring. And this is the rope that will go in that fork on our push-up stick.
Try to get it about in the middle as I can, I guess. So there's the middle. Well, that's about it.
And when we're on a ladder and we are about to push the tarp through it, we can take off that rope.
I want to make sure that, you see how there's 3 X's here? Alright, and there's 3 X's here. Those are the 2 doors. These X's are the doors.
Right.
Right, so I'm going to carry it in, and we're going to lay it on the ground. I'm going to feed that through it.
From the bottom
No,
up?
from this side down. I think it's the only way to do it.
Okay.
But, and then once we get that centered, we'll put the V on the top of that board here.
Right.
And we'll get it all up so it's standing up.
And we know that the center is still where we have our peg in the middle of the tent. So we'll stand it there on top of that board and push it straight up while the other person lays the wire across the tops of these little points. Much better.
Huh?
You wouldn't solve them? You wouldn't solve everybody?
No, everyone's busy. It's too busy to talk right now. I just went to look at that food cart that's on the big trailer. It's pretty cool. And then we have Mark's dog who's kind of just hanging out in the back of
Are
the
you guys
car.
leaving? Oh, I figured.
Yeah, we gotta go do some stuff.
Are you guys leaving the hour?
Yeah, sure. We still got a lot more work to do. We're gonna go home and put our feet up. She can finish the prep.
Okay, so now we're just shifting it back and forth a little bit till we think it's perfectly round. We got all the roof flats where it was slats. Yeah, so we just got to put the crossbars on the top of the roof. So we can see that there's one roof slat in between each point, and we can see that the wire goes between the two pieces of wood on the point, and it actually is sitting down on the rope in between. So our dowels, our roof structure is held together with these boards, and there's a pin on each side of the dowel.
Yep, you just stick the pins in, and that'll keep them from separating when they're installed.
All right. So this is the roof, and it has a solid ring in the top, and the ends are scalloped, and it's folded so that it's inside out right now. And what we do is scoop up this end and push it up through the hole and spread it out around and let it drop. There are two side pieces. One of them has a red square on the end of it, and that square covers one door, and then the rest of the rectangle goes around the front of the yurt. This other rectangle is longer, and it goes from this door around the back of the yurt. And what he's doing right now is matching up those crossbars with marked spots in the roof.
The one that's labeled EFGH is a little bit shorter, and it has to go in first. Otherwise, it makes it very difficult to install. So you always want to put the darker wood one in first. And it's labeled on the ends E, F, G, and H.
Yes, this other one's a little bit lighter in color and a little bit longer.
And that's labeled A, B, C, D.
The reason for doing this is if without these cross braces, you can see that the top is a little wobbly. It doesn't sit square and flat. And that's because we're not always on a super flat ground. And it's because we didn't use a stable ring at the top. We chose to use one that collapses so that it's easily transportable. And so all he does is take the cotter pins.
Yeah, you put the cotter pins in, and you know it's inevitable. You'll end up losing cotter pins.
And when you do, see what we did here? We put some duct tape on the ends of the
And it works just as good. As
dowels.
long as the boards can't slip off, you're all set.
Yeah. But of course, in purchasing this yurt, you'll have all the cotter pins you need. We will make sure of that. Okay, so the lighter ones, A, B, C, D, go above the darker ones, E, F, G, H. All right, so we scoop up the inside, the ends together, and it's inside out, and that part goes up through the hole. And he's going to try to push it out evenly all the way around.
I like the word try.
Yeah, well, it's always a little bit of an effort. And this is where push sticks come in handy, and I didn't bring any. So the next step is to make sure the roof doesn't blow away. And every so often, there's a little loop for the rope to go through. And I go through the loop, and then I come down to the wall, and I go over to the next loop, go through it, and come down to the wall. And it holds the roof from blowing away. So I'm going to hang a sign, and I'm looking at where the eyes are and figuring out where my loops need to go. And all I'm going to do is feed this over the wire and then through itself so that it's hanging like that. Right about where it needs to be. And the second one, I'm going to feed it over the wire. Oh. And then put the ring through itself like that. Now I have these and some S-hooks, and you can hang any sign up on that. Mine happens to be the Masquerade. Easy peasy. And when you're putting your wall up at night, the wall can go up behind the sign if you want. And the hooks that are on the wall
I know.
also attach to that wire.
Well, some of them about
Or you can cover your sign, either way. But I'm just going to hook. Here, I'll show you this one. The next one. So it's just it's a swivel hook. And you just clamp it on like that. And that's how you put your walls up, all the way around. So I've got this tri-piece wall that I put inside as the dressing room. And this end goes to the wall of the yurt and hits the door. And this end gets strapped to the side wall of the yurt. So when you put the dressing room in, and I've got it tied to the side wall here, there's buttonholes that I've tied through and around the wall. That brown rope is the one that we used to hold the roof on. You follow it over here to a spot where there's a loop. There's a loop. So it's holding the roof down, and it's tied to the sides. So the dressing room in here is a pretty good size, and it becomes very private when we put the side wall up out here. And from the inside, it's a flat display wall that you can pin things to. And you just enter it from here.